There we go. Good evening, everyone, and happy Sunday. Hope everyone is doing well. It has been a productive and good week. We did really good. I think everyone enjoyed the live stream video that we did on Tuesday. So that was fun. It looks like we can definitely continue that um, methodology going forward, which is nice because it gives me the ability to do a bit more. Um, Thank you, Immortal, and thank you, Angela. Yes. Um, may coffee and joy be with you. Coffee and joy is definitely here today. It's been a good day. There has been a lot of coffee, not gonna lie. um, First, before we get into this, I want to remind everybody we do have the super chat. Sometimes it can get busy. If you give a super chat, it'll flash it on the screen if your question's important and I keep missing it. I apologize. So use that if that happens, or if you just want to support the channel. Any super chat with or without a question of $5 or more is entered into a spell working for health, prosperity, and well being that I do every Monday for all super chats, super thanks, all those things that we get throughout the week. Also, do remember we do have a locals community now. You can find it at workingdragonmystic.com. There's a tab at the top called Working Dragon Mystic Lair. That is our official private community where we get up to shenanigans. We have live streams for the supporters only. We have videos for supporters only. We have workshops for the supporters only. And the workshops do come with a replay. So there is a massive playlist of backlogged workshops and everything that will be building up over time. So consider giving us some support over there. A lot of great perks. Check it out. And for the non-supporters over there, there's also content and stuff that drops over there. And occasionally we do a private hangout where it's just the locals community, whether it's supporters and members alike. Either way. Speaking of workshops, I've been getting a lot of emails asking if I'm going to be bringing workshops back to the Teachable Online School. Yes, we are. The Working Dragon Mystic Online School will be having workshops. In fact, both myself and Jade are already in the process of figuring out when we're going to do our workshops. I have to finish up the rune workshop that is in the locals community. It's like a 6-week workshop. The way the workshops work over at the school, those have to be a one-time thing, or they get very expensive very, very quick. So that being said, the one time any workshop that we do that goes to teachables, supporters, just so you know this, and if you're considering supporting us, if there's a workshop at teachables, it'll probably be streamed to the supporters at the same time for free. Because if you're a supporter, you will essentially be getting the supporter workshops and any of the other workshops we do as well, unless there's some caveat to that particular workshop for some unforeseen reason that I can't think of at this moment. But that's the plan, just so y'all know. So a lot of great things for the supporters. And we are trying to build up that community because YouTube's been good to us. I'm not going to lie about that. But social media has been getting wonky. Everybody knows that. I personally don't feel we're going to get hit, affected, whatever. But I also wouldn't have predicted the world as it is 20 years ago. So you know how that goes. So I like just to be careful, have insurance, make sure the community's there. All right. And again, thank you for the birthday wishes, everyone. I appreciate it. Yes. Let's see what else we got. This Tuesday we got a Kitchen Witch video coming out. Jade done it. It's going to be really, it's going to be great. I love the concept behind it. So keep your eyes out Tuesday for that Kitchen Witch video. Okay. Okay. Woo. Now, it seems like there was something else going on. Blessing, Vicky, and Violet. And yes, for those who haven't heard, it is indeed my birthday, literally today. In fact, I think it was Immortal asked if we'd even have MCH since it's my birthday. And Squirrel's like, when have you ever known him to take a day off? She's got my number. So yes. Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Very nice. It's really heartwarming to have so many birthday wishes from the community. It really is. I don't really do anything for my birthday. Like everybody's like, "What are you doing?" I don't really do much. I don't celebrate it. It's just another day on the calendar to me. But it has been it's been nice. It has. Tracy, I appreciate it. Also, if you're here, give us a thumbs up. Let us know you like the work we are doing. Okay. So let's see what is other than that. I think that's got that caught up. That's got that. Yep. Okay. I think I'm caught up on everything. I'm sure I missed something. I almost guarantee I missed something, but I think I got everything. So let's get into this. Let's have some fun. If you guys got questions, let me know. I'll try and answer them as best I can. Happy birthday. Agree. Yep. I made sure to mark it in my calendar. You marked my birthday? Or is it something else you marked? There'd be no dragon community without you. Oh, thanks. Well, I appreciate that, and you have a point, but I brag on the admin community a lot. I really do, because they do a lot of work. But truth be told, without the broader community, the admin team would pretty much be useless. So, we need both sides of the fence there. So I highly appreciate that. That is significant that you are birthed. That is significant that you are birthed on the birthday smile. Yeah, the god said, and he will be annoying and he will be an asshole. Let him go forth in his assholiness. And so I went forth. Do the dragons wish you happy birthday? I know it's random. No, that's not random. That's a fair question. My Comag does, and my guardian does. The rulers, so far, 5 of them have popped in and wished me happy birthday. And several of the other entities I work with have popped in to say happy birthday and the like. So it does happen. And usually before the end of the night, every one of the rulers usually does. They have the last few years anyway. I don't have any cough drops tonight. I apologize. So that's not a random question. That's a pretty good question. No, yeah, I marked your birthday. I mean, I do appreciate your work, so the least I can do is wish you happy birthday. Oh, thank you. That's sweet. Hear me. First, happy birthday. Second, how do spells affect other people's minds? Okay. Solid question, Jeremy. Solid. I like it. So, when we do a spell that affects someone else and potentially their thought processes, there are 2 categories of these spells that most magicians will break it into. One would fall into a baneful, unethical removal of free will, and the other one is the person still has free will. Now, they still technically work very, very similar. So let's go with the first category, okay? So the first category of when you do general spell work that's not viewed in the baneful, unethical regions, how does it affect it? It places a thought. It places an ideal. You ever been sitting there and you just have a random thought pop through your brain? Just out of the blue, random and weird. Like, I don't ever drink soda, so when I say random and weird, be like, I want a Dr. Pepper. That would be random and weird in my life. So it would just put a random thought in there and then allow them from that point to choose how they follow through on that. So in many cases, one of the big ones that most people want to tinker with other people's memories or whatnot usually is relationships, love life, maybe getting a date, those kinds of things. So let's say you're at a bar or wherever you go and you've done such a spell. That spell would potentially affect either a specific target. Well, if you're actually trying to go with a thought process, it would have to be a target usually. Um, so that when that person's eyesight crosses you in the room, it's not that they have to look at you, mind you. It's just like if they're turning and you cross their eyesight, their brain picks up that, and it would just be a quick thought of, oh, that's an interesting individual, or that's a cute individual, or some random thought like that that would draw their attention in the thought process direction that you wanted. From there, everything's initiated, things are in your favor, but they're still free to choose as they want. That's the general gist of it. Now, in the other category where we talk about baneful, this is where you literally are pushing the psyche of the person away, and the dominant, corrosive, icky thought, or whatever you want to call it, is pushed in, forced into the front. This never ends well because free will is one of the most powerful forces in the multiverse for really good reason. So this may work for a short time, potentially. But inevitably, always, they end up breaking through it. And I'd say well over 75% of the time, not only do they break through it, come to their senses and realize this person's a piece of crap, but they know who manipulated their thoughts. How they know, that's something magicians have pondered and debated forever that I know of. And it could be the fact that the magic itself came from you, but they know, even if they've never seen you, the moment they do see you on the street or something, they will have an inclination that you effed with them. And there is a hatred and a despisal that comes from that cannot be described. So that's why those are, that type of magic's viewed at do at your own risk. And honestly, anyone willing to manipulate and control a person's mind to that is pretty much a piece of shit in my mind anyway. But on the other hand, like I said, it's just getting them to consider that thought. And once it's like the pebble on the mountain that starts the avalanche. That one thought can start a chain of events. Now, that means it's still up to you in whatever it is you're pursuing, whether it be a job, whether it be employment, whether it be a raise, whether it mean a date, whether it mean a relationship. You still have to do the work and be the good person and maintain it. But that is the general gist of it. It's just placing a surface thought, something that brings their consideration to the direction of that which you are wanting. Does that make sense, Jeremy? Let's see. Hope that helps. If we go any deeper into that, we probably would have to do that over at the supporters channel, because that can go into a place where, let's be honest, YouTube won't be happy when we start talking about it. Archdragon. Are spirits, dragons, entities more accepting of a practitioner will good profile and dress, ritual or meditation of a practitioner with good profile and dress? I'll be honest with you. Most entities don't really care about how you dress. You could show up in a burlap sack, they wouldn't care. I've actually ran into very few entities that I know of that care. They would rather you come to them authentically and in true friendship and that kind of concept, rather than try to be what you're not. When I was considerably poorer, I would wear whatever I had. I have done rituals in 5-day-old sweatpants and a t-shirt with stains on it. I've done rituals completely covered in mud and manure. So yeah, none of that really comes to it. Now, that being said, do entities themselves have personal preferences like we do? Yes. Okay, they do. Um, so it's one of those things where would they compliment you? Yeah. Would they belittle you for what you're wearing? No, not in most cases. Some might, like if you're working with an entity like, let's say, Odin, okay? Odin is a very practical person. He understands practicality. And that makes sense as a warrior god, one who works in survival, one that works in travel, one that spent time on the road. He is the wanderer, right? So practicality is something he values. Um, Now, that's not to say that if the occasion calls for it, he doesn't enjoy looking his best. Like I have seen Odin in a nice suit, beard trimmed, looking good, looking sharp, but that's rare and it depends on the scenario. Most of the time, Odin is going to look like uh, he's going to look like a traveler. He's not going to look fancy. He's not going to look well kept. His beard is going to be very scraggly most of the time, um, just because he's going to have that natural appearance of time on the road or someone who is ready to get up and go at a moment's notice. So practicality and comfort it would be what he values more. Um, so personal preferences can come in. Like Odin knows the value of a hat, right? Okay, I got friends who wear ball caps. I have a few ball caps. I rarely wear them because I don't know. I've never been able to get into it. I feel I look weird in them. I've been complimented, but it's a me thing, right? Okay, he understands their hats. They work with him on occasion. He compliments their hats. Odin himself prefers a wide brim. That's Odin. So in that case, I kind of relate with Odin because him and I both prefer a wide brim. Though there are times where he's critiqued even my wide brimmed hats. You all have seen the gambler style rolled brim felt gambler hat I got. He likes a wide brim hat, but he's not fond of that one because he's like, that wouldn't do you a lick of good in the rain. It's just like a bowl. He's like, what's the point? And I'm like, well, I explained to him why I got it, which, and he's like, well, I understand that, but it's not as practical as, one of your others. So, so yeah, they're not going to care so much at how you're dressed. You don't have to worry about having expensive clothes or whatnot. In fact, the one time I would say that entities might judge you on your clothes if you actually do try to gussy up, put on face, and try to be what you're not. They tend to not like that. So, like if I showed up in a 3-piece suit and looked like I was going to a red carpet event, they would know how full of shit I am because I can dress up for an event. I love to dress up for an event. But if I got dressed just to show up, they would know I was full of shit. And I'm not presenting myself authentically, and that would kind of be more of the issue. Hope that helps. And thank you for the birthday wish. You're such a kick. Let's see. With good profile and dress. Okay, yep. Ahoy, Drake. Good day to you, mate. Hey, Rainbow. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well. Mugs up to you. Let's see. Oh, I saw that. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. Hey, thanks, Scarlett. 13 from, can you speak to the number 13 from your unique point of view? So when we come to numerology and its magical properties, I have spent many years testing different things and all this, and I've never really found a whole lot for it to go on. I do understand that many cultures across the world, for different reasons, had sacred numbers. So those numbers may have some historical or mythological meaning to them, and that's fine. Like the Norse have the number 9. Nine's a very important number within Norse mythology. And I will use the number 9 in Norse magic because they used it. But by and large, the number 9 to me is a number 9. And 13, it's just a 13 or a 4 if you add them together. So when it comes to sacred numbers, I've never really gotten enough results out of them to bypass coincidence. Sad but true. And I know a lot of magicians who absolutely despise every time I say that. And a lot of people actually, like, I got magician friends who they can't believe I take that stance because as a gambler, I'm that person that, like, if it's a video game or whatnot, and you see the pops up on screen 777, all lucky sevens, that whole gambling concept. I'll call it out because it's funny, but I don't put any actual weight to it. So numbers don't mean a lot to me. Well, outside being Gen X, there's a few numbers we see them, we giggle. I'm not allowed to say them here on YouTube, but there are numbers we'll see them, we'll giggle. It's nothing magical. It's just we're crude like that. Some of you on stream probably know at least one of the numbers I'm thinking of. Don't type it. So yeah, number 13 is also that number. Some people view it as bad luck. Some people view it as good luck. It's a very interesting number. Much like Friday the 13th. Honestly and truly, I've only had really good luck on Friday the 13th. I don't count on that. I always assume the moment I count on it, it's going to turn. But I've never been a superstitious person when it comes to Friday the 13th, the witching hour, any of these things. I am I'm very practical. I look for actual tangible evidence. And I have poured through well over $3,000 in numerology books of different kinds and spent years applying it in different ways. And for me, the numbers just didn't add up, pun intended. So I don't really put a lot of stock in it past that. So if there's anything else you want on that, get more specific with it. I might be able to help you a bit more. That's the broad view of the question. And cheers. HBD. Oh, okay. I saw the cheers HBD and I was like, HBD, what's HBD? I do not do internet shorthand out, people. It took me a minute, but I figured it out. It's happy birthday. I'm going to get more coffee now. Where's Squirrel when I need her? She's usually the one that translates that stuff for me. That makes perfect sense, but how do I hide something from someone? If you're wanting to hide okay, so hiding something from someone. Okay, that's slightly different, but I see how it ties into your original question, Jeremy. This is why I love the live streams. So if you're wanting to hide something from someone, so come here, Ace. Ace here. We all know Ace. Ace is a good parrot. So let's say we got Ace here, and Ace is a jeweled parrot instead of a plush parrot, and I want to protect him. Any magic that I do to conceal him or hide him, what it's going to do, it's not necessarily going to directly affect the person as a singular spell. Instead, it's going to put an aura around him, energetically, if you will, that when their eyes pass across him, like him coming across the camera, all it's really going to do is superimpose so they never see it. Now, did their eyes see it? Yes, their eyes saw it. But their mind doesn't register the information as clearly and precisely as everything else. Everybody in this chat has been looking for something, and they've looked in the same place 4 to 5 times. It wasn't there. They go back, or their mom, their friend, their spouse, their drunken buddy, whatever, tells them it's right here. You go, it's like, it's not right. It's right there. And you realize you overlooked it, whether it be a trick of the light, whether it be your own shadow that cast over it, whatever it is, somehow you overlooked it. And it's infuriating. Sometimes people blame it on the Fae. I'm not saying it ain't the Fae sometimes, but all the time it is not. A very similar thing will happen where that sensory trick for that split second, just long enough to overlook it, will take place. Here's the thing. It's not bulletproof because it is a sensory trick. The eye still registers it. It is possible for the subconscious to register it and the subconscious to feed that back to the conscious. Or if they continually scan the area, it may not, enough of the minor information may build into a major information, if that makes sense. So it's only a split kind of second block. It's not like true invisibility, if that makes sense, Jeremy. Anybody ever watch the movie Predator? Think kind of that. Think of his little invisibility armor. Like you can still see his ass. Like he's right there. You can see him. But if he stands really still and you're not looking and you don't know what you're looking for, you can just look right past him. That kind of thing. Marie just popped in to wish. Oh, thank you, Marie. Mugs up to you. It's his birthday. Hit the like button. Yeah, give us some thumbs up. It's my birthday. Take pity on the old mage. Rainbow Worker said thank you. No problem. Lex 22. I like when we have Friday the 13th in October. Yeah, thematically, I gotta admit it's kind of fun. I'm not gonna lie. I love it myself. I grew up on Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. So when you say Friday the 13th to me, I think slasher movies. I think let's go to camp. Let's see. What do we get? Alex 222. I'm not putting the is on there for reasons over here that's going to annoy me. Halloween is my favorite holiday. October puts me in a mood for horror movies. Totally get that. I love fall. I do. I just love the colors. I love the smell of the air. It falls I love it. It's a good season. And Halloween used to be my absolute favorite holiday. Absolute. And then we sanitized it and we made it unfun and it's become a pain in the ass. Like, I don't even give out candy anymore since the only people that come to the door are a bunch of flipping Karens that bitch and moan and complain about the fact that your free candy ain't good enough. So, yeah, I've honestly got to the point where I don't do a lot for Halloween. I do my rituals. I do my magic. I enjoy the weather. I enjoy the season changes. But, yeah, like, I've even stopped doing costume parties and stuff because everyone gets offended. Everyone's got a problem with something. And it's just like, if I go to a party, if I dress up, I don't want to have to go through a list of, I'm going to make this person cry. I'm going to give this person nightmares. I'm going to offend this person. I don't give a shit. So I've really, I kind of keep to myself on Halloween and enjoy it. But I still love it. Don't get me wrong. I still love it. It's just not what it used to be by far. And I miss it. But I can say that about a lot of things. But before I turn into Grandpa Simpson, let's move on. Because, yeah, I got a lot I could bitch about if I wanted. Of course, I know a few of you here would probably get popcorn and laugh your butts off at just listening to me bitch for an hour. And you know who you are. But yeah, I love horror movies on Halloween. It's a great one. I had my tarot read before, but an old quote from an anime series: "Believe in the heart of your cards," passed through my mind. So I kind of have to look to my own deck for answers. I mean, if I ever go to a reader, I don't trust them. I've had very few tarot readers that I build a relationship where I end up trusting them. And truth be told, I've gotten to the point where I will go to a tarot reader, but it's like you go to a carnival, right? You know, the carnival ride ain't the best ride, but it's a ride. It's fun. It's woo. So yeah, it's a novelty for me. And that's why I teach my students do your own tarot readings. And if you do go to a reader and the reading sounds good, I would go deeper into it with your own reading, exactly like you're saying, Scarlett. Jeremy, do you have any videos on illusions or glamour magic? I can't remember. I got a lot of videos, man. I got a lot of videos. I can do a video on illusion or glamour magic because there's nothing wrong with revisiting an old topic from a new view. And as we grow, we learn more about it. And anybody who's been in the live workshops know I don't present the same thing the same way twice ever. That's just the Southern in me. So I can do that. I can put that on the list, Jeremy, and I'll try and get to that soon, actually, if I can. Because that is a pretty good topic. I know that Squirrel, aka Halloween, has actually been discussing illusion and glamour magic in the local community on her daily topics. She's been discussing it with quite a bit there, as opposed to, or in contrast with daily life and ways to use it and stuff like that. So you might consider going over to the locals community and checking out some of her posts over the last weeks. I think she's at least had 2 or 3 that's based around illusion and glamour magic. But I will work on that video, because I really do not remember one. I love illusion and glamour magic or glamour, not grammar, glamour. But I cannot specifically remember a video. But then I'd be lying if I said I remember every video I've ever made, because I don't. I don't. I got too much going on in my life to remember that. So I'll work on getting a Tuesday video out, Jeremy. Keep an eye out for it. Can you use tarot to communicate with dragons? I usually just meditate. Dragons do not like using divination tools for communication. They do not. They have entertained a few humans in such ways for a short time only. And when I say entertain, they will not give complete, thorough answers because they want a practitioner to develop themselves. They want you to develop yourself and your ability. So they want that direct communication through meditation or trance work, those things. They do not want to do it through tools. They do not. So they will entertain you for a time at best. And if you don't work to develop yourself, they will stop talking. And there are a lot of practitioners out there who have never moved past such toys and tools, because divination tools to a dragon is a toy, and they just stop talking. They stop talking, but they still flip those cards out and they still read the card and they think the dragon's speaking, but the dragon it's not speaking. And problem is they won't know the difference because they never took the time to actually make that real connection. I know that's harsh for a lot of people who love divination tools and tarot decks and stuff. I love my tarot deck. Don't get me wrong. I love my tarot deck. But in my dragon magic practice, it does bust. It really does. In fact, that's why I don't honestly. Have I actually got my tarot deck out since I did the tarot class? Wow. I do not know the last time I got my cards out. I know where they're at. They're right there. They're in my office. Wow. That's kind of creepy because I love my cards, but at the same time, oh man. The realizations that hit you in the face, you know what I mean? Great. I'm one of those people. I love hearing you talk. See, I knew it. Great. Hey, mugs up to you for a minute, mate. Mugs up. I may have to start a stream over at locals at least maybe once a month or once a week where I just get on there and just unload. So consider joining locals just for that. Oh, Lord. Oh, they hate pendulums worse than they hate tarot. They really do. But yeah, I would honestly bypass the tools altogether. I really would, just in yourself, because inevitably it slows the person down when they start using the tools. Even when they start out, they actually slows them down. Very, 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 very rarely have I seen it actually expedite the process as opposed to slow it down. But I mean, hey, y'all do your own thing. It's just, you ask my opinion, you ask my recommendation, I give it. So let's see. Also, curious, will the Fey Path working be up this year? We have hit a few roadblocks on the Fey Path working. I do not know when it's going to be up. I am trying my darndest. I do apologize. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. So yeah. Would what's the hold on? And would getting Dragon Magic 101 help with Fey? Also love yeah, actually, Dragon Magic does actually. It's weird to think about, but it actually does help with the Fae because dragons naturally work. Like I said, I've not found an entity they don't work with, so they can help bridge that gap a little, especially getting started. Um, so I would say, yeah, 101 would help. So if you're interested in the Fae path working, and like I said, we don't have a release date, and you've considered the Dragon Magic one, I would go ahead and get started on that if you haven't started it already. I don't know, but because it will definitely be of use and can help. It's not a necessity, but it would be helpful. Pretty good question there. Thank you. Let's see, Rainbow. You do have the most constant output. That's also experience-based research in cult. I would say. Oh, thank you. I try. I do. I try to make sure you guys have some consistent content. And if I take off for any reason, I try to let you know when I'm taking off, and you know when you can expect me back. So I try to do my best. Let's see. Hey, Working Dragon Mystic. I just had a spiritual experience while hiking Friday. I felt the love of the universe, etc. I have radically changed and am working on my social media addictions, etc. Am I ready for dragons? Thomas, I'll be honest with you, mate. You can start working with dragons straight out of the gate. Like most people, if they're interested in magic, they've never done anything. I tell them Dragon Magic is a good place to get started. Dragon Magic 101 over at the school is a beginner course. The only things that I tell people that it's not necessary, but like let's say you want to prepare for beginner, like if you want to preschool your kindergarten, like pre-kindergarten, then I would start working on some meditation and not you don't have to develop your arcane senses, but start doing some basic exercises on those. That's one of the reasons like the arcane senses or arcane sight class at the school is free, because that is like the pre-kindergarten stuff. You don't have to master it. You don't have to do everything perfectly. If you just work through that, you're solid. We have a meditation course. You could consider that, but you don't have to. Basic meditation will work if you can just sit down and meditate, clear your mind or focus on a question for 5 to 10 minutes. You're solid. But you could skip both of those, go straight to Dragon Magic 101 because everything needed in that course is there. We talk about meditation practices in that course. We talk about arcane senses in that course. Dragons are quite beginner friendly in that 101 section. So, yeah. Basically, not even relying on the cards. I'm gonna be completely honest. I just like the pretty dragon pictures. That's fair. That's fair. I love to watch an hour-long stream. If you let that cannot be on YouTube because if I get riled up and start, I won't stop, and I'll end up saying something. Because I try to behave on here. Do y'all realize this is me behaving? I'd bring chocolate and popcorn. Hey, there you go. Bring the chocolate and popcorn. There we go. Has anyone had that salted chocolate popcorn? Like it's that dark, it's dark chocolate on popcorn, and then they put the coarse like sea salt on it. A buddy of mine had that and gave me a handful of it. I mean, he ate the whole freaking bucket before he even gave me a small handful. That stuff is good. Anyway, moving on. Maybe on Locals stream he'd let loose. Yeah, Locals is where I'd have to do it. Definitely. Locals is definitely where we'd have to do it. We might have to do that sometime just for fun. Because that's one of the beautiful things at Locals. We're allowed to discuss that and talk about things that I can't talk about here. Have you read the Dragonomicon? Which one are you talking about? If you're talking about the red one that has the dragon's eye triangle on it, I have read it. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. It has little to nothing to do with dragon magic. It's if you're interested in druidism, it's a good book, but it's sorely misrepresented because it's based on. So there is an area and a section within Druidic lore where they talk about the spirit of the earth and nature as the dragon. And this terminology in Druidism isn't talking about a literal dragon or dragons in the terms of dragon magic. And it really pulls from that. And it pulls from it a lot. And it even pulls from Hollywood. Like there are literal quotes straight from Hollywood movies in there. Which I won't knock it for that. I find it annoying. Okay, I personally find it annoying. But there's other books where I've seen that happen, and I find it annoying. Like the charm of making from Excalibur. When that shows up in a magic book, you can know my eyes are going to roll. That's going to be like, ugh. I love the movie Excalibur. One of my favorite depictions of Merlin. Don't get me wrong. I love that Merlin. He gives me a smile and a laugh every time I watch the movie. But please don't base your magic text on it. But yeah, there's several Dragonomicons out there, and I mean a lot of them, most of them. Okay, actually, let's say, yeah, I can't think of one I'd spend money on. The only one I spent money on that I enjoyed was nothing to do with magic. It was fictional, entirely fictional. And it became useless also. So I always hope a good one will show up because it's like, that's a cool word, Dragonomicon. But so far I've not found one. Unfortunately. Do you need a sigil to in Dragon? Sigils do play a part within Dragon Magic. Those are also included in the course, though. Yes. Though I will say in Dragon Magic, sigils don't work exactly the same way as you might think of with the Goetic or with angels. They do function differently. Slightly differently, but differently enough. What do dragons think of tattoos? By and large, they don't mind them. I mean, seriously, people, I'm covered with tattoos. So they don't always understand them. Like, they don't really understand random tattoos as much. They don't mind. I mean, they decorate their scales sometimes. But they don't understand like a permanent alteration in that manner just on a whimsy per se, but they also know that humans are prone to bouts of whimsy and drunkenness. But when a person takes some time, thinks through a tattoo, and that tattoo has a meaning to them and a purpose, they absolutely fully understand that. Many people have heard me say that my tattoos are like a journal to me. There's not a tattoo on me that was at a whimsy. There's a meaning and a purpose behind every tattoo on me, even though I have a lot of them. So, yeah, they don't mind them. Can you talk about Druidism and what Druid is and does? Oh, that would be a great topic. And I'd be lying if I said I've studied it. Well, no, I have studied it. I'm not lying when I say that. It's been so long that I don't trust myself to articulate it well. But by and large, it deals with natural energies and nature and cycles of the year in a way that is, it's different from what we know as Wicca, though Wicca definitely had some inspiration from it. Um, Definitely falls kind of closer into the like Gaelic, Celtic historical regions, I believe, if I'm remembering right. Um, that said, though, Mario, I may actually pull some of my books and see if I can put something together in a video for you all on that, because that's a fair one. Because some Hollywood gets it done well. Like in truth, if you watch Excalibur, okay, if we watch Excalibur, that movie, Merlin's depiction as a wizard in that particular movie is based off of older druidic practices. So that wizard depiction comes off of a very druidic viewpoint, which is which makes sense and fits. But yeah, it's not a practice. Yeah, off the cuff, it's not one that I'm comfortable. I feel I'd misrepresent it in a way that wouldn't be good. Because though I will knock certain things about Hollywood, druidic practice as a whole, even though it's not really my cup of tea, I love the practice. I think it's a beautiful practice, and I know a few people who work. And I may actually see if I can get them on the channel to discuss it. But yeah, I can look into talking about that. So I tried to communicate with one servitors before through Oracle, but all I heard in my mind is someone blowing a raspberry. Servitor communication is something I'm still working on. Well, servitors are constructed by you. So you construct how they communicate. And if you don't construct and build in a communication, they won't have it. So my first question is, when you built that servitor, did you intend to communicate with it? Did you build in the communication? If not, it can't communicate. That's like asking a dog to read Shakespeare. It can't do it. Let's see. The one thing about the occult is that everyone can write books. There isn't a scientific consensus among this stuff, which can be frustrating. You're absolutely right. And if you notice, that's one of the reasons I keep telling people this channel, our framework, our basis is a more scientific approach to magic, where what I do is I teach a framework. These are the nuts and bolts, the more required, and it's based on practical results driven, right? Because if we're talking about faith, if we're talking about what we believe, if we're talking about subjective ideals, you can say anything you want, you can do anything you want, you can do, everyone has their own opinion. But if you are repeating a pattern and pattern and pattern over, and you're getting a result that is also repeating within a reasonable percentage, that's something that's a little different. And that's what I try to do. And I've told you all many times, like in my personal practice, if I can't hit 75 to 80% manifestation rate, then I view that particular practice as non-functional. Now, I'm not saying everyone has to have that standard. That's my personal standard. And that last 20%, that leaves a little leeway for life and all the things that can go wrong in magic. But I need to have at least an 80% assurance that that's going to happen, bar none. That's just me. Let's see. Shrek and Pain. Jimmy. You all know I don't try to get into role playing here, but they view D&D as a game. That's what it is. It's a game. Um, and they don't actually view the particular depictions of them necessarily as them. It is a fiction. It's a work of fiction. They understand fiction, and they leave it in fiction. Um, Rainbow, do you agree that dragons originated from fallen seraphim genetic? No, I don't, actually. No, I don't. Everything I've learned from the angels and the dragons would suggest they share no genetic material at all, no relations. And the people I've heard that talk about this are trying to interconnect dragons with infernal or demonic practices, and they view these entities like Azazel and others as dragons, which, though they may take on draconic imagery, they are not dragons. So, no, I do not agree with that. Uh, let's see. Guys, please stop spamming the channel, or you will be removed. Just so we know that. Let's see. Can you make packs with different entities at a go? Are you asking if you can make more than one pack at one time, like in one single ritual? The answer would be no. Because if you're trying to do that, then you're missing the entire point of an actual pact. Because again, go and check out my videos on that. Packs are not little rub the genie's lamp wish granters. And there's a lot of work that goes into them. Let's see. Okay, we got about 10 minutes left. Anybody has any questions? Well, actually, a little under 10, but if anybody has any last minute questions, let me know. Just so we are, you all asked about the Fey path working, but I should say that this year we're actually going to be trying to film the Norse path working, hopefully. We are having to make a few adjustments and everything, so we haven't gotten started filming, which is pissing me off a little bit. But we are hoping to start filming that and have that this year. We are, of course, we due to certain things, we have to make some adjustments. Some may not be able to get the outside shots I'm wanting, but I think between the office and I might be able to utilize my garage for some of the shots that I was hoping to get. So hopefully that'll function. But even if I can't get the outdoor shots, which, let's be honest, those were just kind of a me thing wanting to do and get, it will not cut the quality of the course at all. We'll still get it solid. It's just annoying because, it sounded fun. And I try to have fun while making these. So keep your eyes out for that. And I'll try to update you all once we actually start filming and stuff like that, so you all have an idea. But as of right now, I haven't started filming it, and I do apologize. It's been a crazy year already, and it's just February. What is the scariest experience you've had with dragons? Have you ever? I actually cannot share that experience. I apologize, Vicky. What are some of the main functions dragon can assist the magician with? I honestly haven't found anything a dragon can't assist. So the easier question would be, what is it you're looking for? Because every aspect of my life has been affected by working with the dragons, and the dragons have come through on everything I've been working with them on over these years. And they've helped me go far beyond what I thought I could even do. So I can't think of an area that they can't help in. Seriously, I can't. If you may be asking, if that's the case, then why do I work with so many entities? Curiosity. I'm a social person. I'm a social asshole. So like I have a threshold for I am peopled out. Leave me alone. But my curiosity and my research has me bouncing around, talking with different entities and learning different things and different perspectives. I love perspective. Like, I will talk to multiple dragons about the same thing because even the different dragons have a different perspective. I love perspective. Um, you got to remember, I worked as an investigator for a while, and because of that, I know that anytime someone tells you a story, it's like a photograph. You only see this, you only see that. But I had a mentor that told me anytime someone tells you something, always seek another perspective. And the way he said it, he's like, try to see everything in life, not from one, two, or three viewpoints, but as if it was a golf ball. And every divot on that golf ball was a different point of view. If you can seek to get that many different points of view, then in seeing all this different information from so many different perspectives and points of view, then you come close to seeing the truth of reality in that. That is what he taught me. And I have brought that concept and I've brought that ideal into every aspect of my life, including my magic. And a lot of people, and that was probably my big issue with religion, is religion was just one perspective. That was it. And I didn't like that. In fact, the religious leaders, the men and women that shaped me, that I look up to this day, that I would drop everything I'm doing if they needed my help. Pastor Jerry, if you're out there, I love you, man. They're the individuals who had viewpoints. They had a spectrum. You know, they had a large faceted view of their belief system and their relationship with their religion. They weren't just a shoehorned on a rail doctrine that was immutable. So yeah, that pursuit of perspective, it's invaluable. And honestly, that's something that even outside magic people, I would encourage you to do it. I mean, hell, look at the world right now. No matter where you're at right now, almost it's impossible to find some new law, some new bill, some new politician, some new jackass that's doing something to drive a wedge between the people, to divide us. They're quick to point out, well, you're this, you can't do this because of this, you can't do this because of this. And it's dividing us by breaking us into individual tribes where we're no longer allowed to talk, where we're no longer allowed to think, we're no longer to have open, critical, intellectual discussions, where we're no longer allowed to disagree. We lose perspective and we become sheep. When I found out that schools no longer teach critical thinking, but only teach you to pass a test, yeah, that's a rant for another time. But seek perspective. I don't care where you are in your life, seek perspective. In fact, one of the things I do is I make a point to research the things I don't agree with. I look to things from the other perspective purposely. I challenge my own beliefs. I challenge my own view because that's honestly, in my mind, how I'm going to learn the most. I want to understand the world and my fellow man. And I want to truly seek that understanding. Now, I could easily say some of these younger generations are just stupid and they're lost. There's no hope for the world. Screw it. I could do that. I could go the Grandpa Simpson route. Or I could seek to understand them. And if I understand them, then either A, I may see that they're smarter than I thought they were, or I could seek to help show them a perspective and build them up. Just build them up. You don't have to be stupid to need built up. Everybody needs built up. I continue to build me up every day. And I truly, truly, truly believe if every one of us would put aside our ego and seek that perspective, the world would be a very different place really quick. Anyways, that's my 2 cents. That's my cup of coffee. Um, Mario, what is the difference between a witch and a shaman? Oh man, traditionally not a lot. This day and age, in the modern age, they start slapping a lot of different definitions onto a lot of different things and shifting it. So, from that perspective, in the general sense, this day and age, a witch traditionally was someone who done root work. They worked with herbs, medicines. They might work with a few nature spirits. They might work with some form of deity. But by and large, think herbal magics, candle magics, um, folk magic style practice was the traditional witch. Um, in the general terms, like I said, through the years, these definitions have shifted and changed a lot. Whereas shaman was someone who specifically worked, became a spiritual leader, medicine man of sorts, and worked directly with the spirits and through embodiment of these spirits. So the shaman worked with everything as if it had an embodiment of an entity, whether it was an illness. Illnesses are germs, not spirits. But you could still, if you look at the 28 laws, you can embody anything as a consciousness, and the shaman would do that and work with it, and they would work with the spirits of the land. They'd work with the ancestors. It was a lot more direct spiritual contact and negotiations, um, to understand and make sure not only are you working with the spirits, keeping your life in balance with the spirits, but the spirits are working with you. And it was this kind of give and take, ebb and flow of balance within it. And of course, different cultures and societies that had shamans, most of them very tribal. They had their own practices, their own viewpoints, but the practices did overlap in certain areas and had certain commonalities, even though there was that large separation. That is a very, very brief, broad, general idea. And that's not the bottom of the well, but that should give you a rough general synopsis, maybe, I hope. All right, everybody. Jade has the night off. As we could probably say from a few comments up there that probably should have got deleted. But that's okay. She told me she wasn't going to be here. That's fine though. She had something to do. Let's see. That's a good question. I was in front of it. All right. Let's see. Got that. I wasn't expecting that. I apologize. No, it's fine. I'll just be honest. If I can't. Somebody threw clocks anyways. That was sweet of you, Vicky. Happy birthday. Thank you again. All right, everybody. You have a fantastic night. I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go grab some dinner, maybe make another pot of coffee, hang out, spend the night with the wife, laugh, joke, have a good time. And I will see you all next week. And locals community, I will see you all later this week also. So, and keep an eye on locals, because I think I'm going to be able to make a few announcements over there that some of you all are going to like. One of which, I'll go ahead and let everybody know. The supporters section of the locals community in the near future can look forward to a live stream where we are going to discuss the higher rulers of Dragon Magic. Okay, can't put it on YouTube. The rulers have made that very clear, but they have allowed me to begin talking about them there. So consider that. All right, everyone. And there are some more announcements that I'm hoping to be able to make soon on local. So check it out. And I will see you all later. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. It was so wonderful. It's nice to know that the community actually cares what happens to this old mage. And everybody, great week. Good night. Bye-bye.